Welcome to my channel, X-Coin Secrets, where history meets hidden value. Here we explore the top 5 most valuable and rare coins from around the world. Coins that look ordinary, but can be worth hundreds, thousands, or even life-changing money today. In every video, we break down real coin stories, mint marks, errors, conditions, and today's auction market prices in simple, easy-to-understand language. Our first coin, the 2011 Abraham Lincoln penny with a D mint mark, sometimes referred to online as the most expensive 2011 Lincoln cent. Now, normally, a 2011 D penny is extremely common, with over 2.5 billion struck at the Denver Mint, and in typical circulated condition, these coins are worth only face value, just 1 cent. But what if I told you that one of these very ordinary coins has been described as being worth up to $30,000 in today's auction market? Yes, that number sounds staggering, especially given what we know about 2011 pennies, even high-grade, uncirculated examples, graded by major coin grading services, normally sell for hundreds of dollars at most, not tens of thousands. So, where does a valuation like $30,000 come from? And why is this coin generating so much buzz? To understand that, we have to talk about how coin values are determined. The basic value of any penny is driven by 3 things: the date and mint mark, how many were made, and most importantly, the condition or grade of the coin. A circulated fine condition coin, which shows noticeable wear from use, is far less valuable than one that is crisp and almost mint fresh. Many collectors would describe a circulated fine 2011 D Lincoln as essentially a common penny with no significant rarity. In the world of coin collecting, extraordinary values usually come from rare varieties or errors, or coins that are in exceptional condition. There are indeed some rare 2011 pennies, for example error coins with double dies, cap die strikes, or other unusual minting anomalies that have sold for hundreds or even over $1,000 at auction, but these are error coins, not your standard business strike with a Denver Mint mark. And even the best graded, non-error 2011 D in perfect MS, 68 red condition might bring somewhere in the hundreds of dollars range when professionally graded and sold, with typical market data showing top examples going for a few hundred alone price charting. Despite that, there are occasional listings online where sellers claim values that are orders of magnitude higher than what real auction records support. These listings often attract attention, get circulated in videos, and lead people to believe they might have a high-value coin in their pocket change. But professional numismatists and real auction results tell a different story. The real market, based on verified sales and proper grading, shows that a 2011 D penny in circulated fine condition, even one with nice color or original luster, simply doesn't have the documented rarity to command a value of tens of thousands of dollars. Now here's the important takeaway for collectors and viewers. If someone tells you that a common modern penny is worth $30,000 with no provenance, no certified grade, and no documented auction results backing that claim, you should approach that claim with healthy skepticism. Real coin values are established through actual sales data, professional grading, and collector demand, not hope or hype. In fact, most modern Lincoln pennies produced after 2010, even in uncirculated condition, are only worth modest premiums above face value unless they are truly rare or error pieces. So what should you do if you think you found a valuable penny? The first step is to get it professionally examined and possibly submitted to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. A coin that is genuinely valuable will get a strong grade, clear documentation, and will actually sell for a high price at auction. Claims of huge values without proper verification rarely stand up under scrutiny, and most of the time those record prices you see thrown around are either mistakes or deliberate exaggerations meant to generate views or clicks. In conclusion, the story of the 2011 Abraham Lincoln penny with a D mint mark and a supposed value of $30,000 is a fascinating example of how coins capture our imagination, but it also highlights the importance of understanding real market values. While that number makes for dramatic headlines and eye-catching video titles, the real auction market and verified sales history show far more modest, but still interesting, values for this modern 1-cent piece. Next coin, the 2006 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny with no mint mark in a circulated, dusty condition, and a claimed value of $20,000 in today's auction market. Now, before we jump to conclusions, it's important to understand what this coin actually is, and why some people talk about huge dollar figures for what most of us see as everyday change. The 2006 Lincoln penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint in massive numbers. Literally billions were struck and released into circulation because of that enormous production. The vast majority of these coins that are worn and dusty, showing signs of everyday use, are considered common. In typical circulated condition, most collectors and coin guides list the value of a regular 2006 no-mint mark penny at around face value, or maybe just a few cents above that if it has nice appearance or original color, yet somehow a figure like $20,000 gets thrown around in some videos, listings, and discussions. So let's unpack what might be going on. In the world of numismatics or coin collecting, value is driven by three main factors: rarity, condition, and demand. A coin that's rare or has a striking error that makes it unusual can command high prices, especially if it's in excellent condition and collectors want it, but a common business strike penny that has been circulated, showing wear, dirt, and everyday handling, does not meet the criteria for extreme rarity. Even high-grade, perfect examples of common modern pennies typically sell for modest amounts, perhaps a few $100s at most if they are graded and certified as flawless by a major grading service. A dusty circulated coin, by contrast, usually has far less collector interest. So why do claims of $20,000 pennies exist? Often these claims are tied to confusion with error coins or rare varieties. A 2006 Lincoln penny with a significant mint error, like a dramatic double die, wrong planchet, off-center strike, or other unusual minting anomaly, can indeed be worth more than face value. Some error coins have sold at auction for several hundred or occasionally low thousands of dollars, especially if they are dramatic, visually striking, and professionally certified. But even then, documented auction results show these error pieces selling in much lower ranges than $20,000, and importantly, those values are tied to specific, verified sales of error coins, not just ordinary circulated examples. When someone claims a worn, dusty 2006 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is worth $20,000, it's important to ask for evidence. Has the coin been professionally graded and certified? Is there a documented auction sale showing it actually brought that price? Collectors and dealers rely on real sales data from trusted auction houses and grading services like PCGS or NGC to establish a coin's true market value. Without that evidence, sky-high valuations are just speculation or hype. If someone comes to you and says you found a $20,000 penny from 2006 just sitting in your change jar, the best course of action is not to immediately expect that windfall. Instead, take the coin to a reputable dealer or submit it to a professional grading service. A credible grader will authenticate the coin, check for any genuine errors or unusual characteristics, and assign a grade that reflects its condition. Only with that verified grade and documented provenance can you start to understand what the coin might be worth in the actual auction marketplace. In real auction history, even the best examples of 2006 Lincoln pennies with interesting characteristics tend to sell for values that reflect rarity and collector interest, often in the hundreds or low thousands range. For dramatic error coins, normal circulated coins, even well-preserved ones with pleasing color, rarely attract significant premiums. That's because supply far outweighs demand for such common dates, and collectors generally prefer rarer or older issues. So the story of the 2006 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny and the notion of a $20,000 valuation is a great opportunity to talk about how coin values really work. It highlights the importance of verified sales records, professional grading, and understanding the difference between common business strikes and true rarities. While the idea of finding a 5-figure coin in your pocket change is exciting, the real collectible value of most 2006 pennies is much more grounded in reality. Appreciating that helps you become a smarter collector and avoid being misled by exaggerated claims. Next coin, the 2002 Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny with AD mint mark, sometimes referred to casually as a large date variety, in circulated fine condition. And a claim you might have heard that it's worth $40,000 in today's auction market. If you've ever found one of these in your pocket change and wondered if it's a gold mine, stick with me because we're going to unpack what's real and what's hype. The 2002 D. Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint and produced in huge quantities, over 4 billion coins just that year. That means most of the ones you find in circulation, even in pretty good condition, are extremely common. And because so many were made, collectors don't pay high premiums for circulated examples. In fact, most circulated 2002 D cents are only worth about face value, maybe a few cents above that if they look nice and show low wear. When someone talks about a valuation of $40,000 for this coin, it's important to ask, what's the evidence? Are there verified auction results showing a 2002 D in circulated fine condition selling for that amount? The answer from documented coin price guides and auction histories is no. The real market values for this date and mint mark in circulated grades don't reach anywhere near 5-figure numbers. Most circulated 2002 D pennies are essentially worth what you could spend at a vending machine, 1 cent, unless they have something very. So why do some videos or online listings throw out sky-high dollar figures? Often those exaggerated claims aren't based on solid sales data. They're hype designed to get attention. In the real numismatic market, only very specific coins sell for large amounts, and those are almost always rare errors or exceptionally high-grade varieties that have been professionally graded and sold at major auction houses. For example, error coins, pennies struck off-center, wrong planchet coins, double dies, or dramatic die cap varieties can be worth hundreds or even a few $1,000s if they're visually striking and certified by a grading service. There really aren't documented examples of normal 2002 D pennies in circulated condition, meaning worn from everyday use with visible wear and dust from circulation, selling for huge amounts like $40,000 real auction records for high-grade 2002 D pennies show modest numbers even for uncirculated examples, with top certified examples rarely going above the low hundreds of dollars. Understanding coin values is all about supply, demand, and documented sales. A common coin that was made in the billions simply doesn't have the rarity to bring big money, no matter what tiny detail someone points out in a video. The only time a common date like this becomes truly valuable is if it's an authentic error piece that's been verified by experts and has a strong collector demand. Even then, the prices might be high compared to face value, but they still remain grounded in real auction results and not exaggerated claims. If you think you might have something rare or valuable, the best thing to do is to have the coin examined by a professional coin dealer or submitted to a respected grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it, check for real errors, and give you a grade that reflects its true condition. Only with that kind of verified documentation can you start talking about serious value, and even then, it needs real sales history to back it up. Next coin, the 2001 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, and nearly 5 billion of these coins were struck for general circulation in that year. That means they were released into everyday use all across the United States, and most people have dozens of them in their pocket change or jar at home because of that huge production volume. The majority of these coins in circulated condition, meaning they show wear from use and often look dusty or worn, are extremely common. They simply aren't rare by any standard. In typical circulated condition, this no mint mark 2001 penny is worth only about face value, 1 cent, or at most a few cents if it looks especially nice. If you see listings or videos online claiming a 2001 no mint mark penny in circulated condition is worth $15,000 or similar lofty sums, that's where we need to be cautious. Coin values in the real world are driven by documented auction results and collector demand, not by hype or unverified listings. For the standard 2001 no mint mark penny, even coins in high uncirculated grades, ones that look nearly new, typically sell for tens to low hundreds of dollars at most if they have exceptional eye appeal and strong color circulated coins. The ones you find in change that show wear and dust rarely exceed an average of a few cents to a couple of dollars among collectors. It's true that rare error coins from 2001 can fetch high prices, sometimes very high at auction, because they are genuinely unusual and scarce. One famous example is the 2001 mule error, where a Lincoln penny obverse was mistakenly struck with the reverse of a Roosevelt dime. These mule coins are extraordinarily rare and have been known to sell in the six-figure range at major auctions because collectors prize them. Another unusual error might be coins struck on the wrong planchet or with dramatic off-center strikes, and some of these have been known to sell for hundreds or even over $1,000 in the rarest cases, but those are error examples, not the standard circulated pennies most people find pennyverse info. For your typical 2001 no mint mark Lincoln penny in circulated dusty condition, the value in today's market remains very modest. Most of these coins are valued at around 1 cent to a few cents with most collectors and dealers because there are so many of them and they are so easy to find. Even if someone claimed a circulated example was worth $15,000, that claim would only be credible if there were verifiable auction sales showing similar coins actually sold for that amount. And in this case, there aren't any real records showing circulated 2001 pennies selling for anything close to that figure. If you think you've found a rare or valuable variation of this 2001 penny, for example, an error piece or something that looks very unusual, the best thing you can do is have it examined by a professional coin dealer or submitted to a reputable grading service. They can authenticate whether it's a genuine error, determine its condition level, and let you know what similar coins have actually sold for at auction. Without that kind of certification and documented sale history, it's much more realistic to value a circulated 2001 penny at modest terms rather than five-figure amounts. So in summary, while the story of a 2001 no mint mark penny being worth $15,000 makes for an eye-catching headline, the real auction market and established numismatic data show that a circulated, dusty example is worth only a small premium over face value in most cases. Only truly rare error coins or exceptionally high-grade certified specimens have any chance of commanding higher prices, and even those are valued based on real sales, not speculation. Next coin, the 1996 Abraham Lincoln 1 cent penny with no mint mark, sometimes called a large date variety. That's been in circulation long enough to look dusty and worn, and a claim you might have heard that it's worth $15.50 or more in the current auction market. Let's slow down and look at what the real value picture looks like based on documented market data, and what you should actually expect if you find one of these coins. First, this 1996 penny with no mint mark was struck by the Philadelphia Mint, and over 6.6 billion of these coins were made that year because so many were produced. The vast majority of them today are out in circulation, dirty, dusty, worn down by everyday handling. These circulated coins are very common, and as a result, Most of them are worth only their face value. 1 cent to collectors unless there's something unusual about how they were made. In most coin value guides, a worn, circulated 1996 no mint mark penny has a typical market value of around 1 cent, or maybe up to a few cents if a collector wants it for a set or a specific reason. Some databases list circulated values in the range of 15 cents up to around $2 in cases where the coin is very clean or just lightly worn. So why do people sometimes talk about values like $15, $15.50, or even higher? The truth is that professional auction sales and verified price guides show that average circulated 1996 pennies don't bring anything close to 5-figure values or even double-digit dollar amounts. Those higher numbers you see floating around on social media, YouTube, or online listings are almost always exaggerated or speculative, not backed by real auction results where a similar coin actually sold. Experts emphasize that the only coins that ever bring meaningful prices are those that are genuinely rare or have a dramatic mint error, and those are exceptions. For example, extremely high-grade 1996 pennies in uncirculated condition with strong original color, what collectors call red, can sell for more, and some have brought prices into the hundreds or even low thousands of dollars at auction. But these are certified gem, uncirculated coins, not dusty circulated ones. One example from 2018 was a 1996 no mint mark penny graded MS 68 plus red that sold for around $2,500, and that is considered a rare outlier because virtually all pennies from that year were circulated long before they were saved. There are also certain error varieties or other specific traits, like double dies, planchet flaws, or unusual die varieties, that can make a coin more collectible and potentially raise its value. But those are distinct error coins, not normal circulating coins, showing every day where the typical dusty 1996 no mint Mark Lincoln penny does not qualify as such an error, and so its market value stays very modest. Another factor that sometimes confuses people is the wide AM versus close AM variety on the reverse legend of 1996 pennies. While that can be interesting to die variety collectors, it has not been shown to meaningfully increase value for the worn circulated coins most people find. The vast majority of these pennies are so common that unless it's a certified error or gem uncirculated example, a collector won't pay premium prices for it. If you think you might have a rare version of the 1996 penny, whether it's an error variety or an exceptionally well-preserved example, the best thing you can do is have it evaluated by a professional coin dealer or submit it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can determine if it truly has any characteristics that make it unusual or collectible. Without that certification, and without a documented auction sale showing similar coins fetching high prices, it's far more realistic to consider a dusty circulated 1996 no mint mark penny is worth just a few cents to, at most, a couple of dollars in today's market.